Last segment here, Joe. We have Keyboard Warriors, weekly hot take segment brought to you by our friends at Barrel Theory Beer Company. And I am drinking part of the care package, delicious beer, in my opinion. I don't know if you've tried it yet. Did that thing move? I like the cool fire label design. This is actually a collab beer with Ansari's Mediterranean Grill and Lounge, which, you know, no free ads, but that place is freaking awesome. If you haven't been there, Joe, that might have to be like a future meetup spot.
Yeah.
And a Hog, House of Glore. I actually don't know what that is, but sounds great. But tasty, hazy pale ale. Ooh, delicious. But everyone, make sure we got games back at the X now. Look at that. Road trip ends this week. I'll be out there for the Toronto game. If anyone grabs one of the Crowler of the Days out there, section 105, come find me or tag us and send us the pictures. We're all about it. Joe, have you dabbled yet? What's the best one you've had in the package?
I had them all, actually. Well, the one I hadn't had was the mimosa one.
I dropped the wife and kid off, and I went home and I slammed all of them.
Yeah. Well, you dropped them off. I've had the whole weekend to do it, so it wasn't like it was.
No, I know. I'm just giving you shit.
The only one I haven't had was the mimosa combo.
Dude, I'm not a sour guy. That one's really good.
So that's the only one I've missed. But as you know, I'm a big IPA guy. So there were 3 versions of IPA / other pale ale. So
they're all great.
Yeah. Not having any tonight because I have my physical in the morning, so I'm fasting until my blood work's done. Don't want to be loaded up for that one. So, but overall, I did have Barrel Theory when I was at the X on Thursday. So,
you know, my first hot take that I'm just going to add in ad hoc here, Joe. I just think it'd be really fun if you didn't care about spending money and taking an extra doctor visit to just like literally load up, like get drunk, eat a bunch of garbage food, and then go in and have them like test all of your stuff and be like, you fasted? Like, yeah, I haven't eaten in like a day. Like, oh no. And just see how they react. That'd be fun.
See how your blood work and cholesterol and blood pressure would be. That'd be awesome.
Bad.
Yeah.
It'd be so bad. Okay. That's on the bucket list. Actually getting into the hot takes here though. First one is going to be an interesting one because it was a hot take. People were getting upset about it, and it's slowly becoming less and less of a hot take. But Anna Dua, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but host and reporter for Sportsnet, said literally like right after we recorded last week, Kirill Kaprizov is a top 5 player in the league. I said what I said. And she was getting absolutely buried, both by commenters that don't live in Minnesota and by her colleagues. Anna might be a bit of an oracle. Maybe we need to get her on a future episode.
Hey, I love people have takes and believe in it. And like Kaprizov, he could be playing like a top 5 player right now. Look at his numbers. Look at the way he impacts the game. Anytime you have to go down that list of ranking players, like ranking best players of all time, it's hard to do that. But, you know, if you look at present day and the way these guys are playing right now, and he's, like I said earlier, like he'll be in the MVP discussion for me. If the Wild make the playoffs in our position, he would absolutely be in that position, you know.
Agreed.
McDavid's the best player in the world. And
let's put you on the spot here. Like, off the cuff, top 5.
Top 5 players in the world right now.
Right now.
Be McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov, Makar Kaprizov.
I like that. Oh, I like that. So
I'm sure I missed somebody. There's
plenty of guys that could be argued. So the 2 that you left off,
Panarin, right? Like Panarin.
Panarin's not even in it for me. Like great player. Like this is why it's like a fun conversation because like there's so many quote unquote right answers. Little side hot take within this hot take. I have thought and continue to think that Cale Makar is the best player in the league.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's going to irk a lot of people who will go to McDavid, and I completely understand. But with what he does, both sides of the puck, how he completely changes the complexion of a team, that's my guy.
Mhm.
But the two that we got to talk through a little bit compared to your list are Matthews and Draisaitl. And it's tough. Like,
Yeah.
now, if we're talking MVP race,
Yeah.
I'm putting Kaprizov top 2 or 3 right now.
Mhm.
But if we're talking like best player, like if I could have this player on my team, I think Matthews and Draisaitl are the two that I would say edge Kaprizov out and put him like just outside of my top 5.
Yeah.
Now,
And that
that
could,
said,
like,
we'll
yeah.
see. Like he's absolutely not like one where someone would say he's in their top 5 and I'm like, you're an idiot, you know?
Mhm.
But
Yeah, like it's
tough.
Matthews is unbelievable player, and like I think all these ones there's like a top 7 or 8 that kind of interchange
Yeah.
how the season's going, how they're playing. Like Draisaitl didn't start off really well. McDavid just got hurt. Like there's certain ebbs and flows into it, but and positions are so different, right? The sense
Totally.
Matthews is a center versus Kucherov is
Yep.
a winger, and like, but yeah,
I would say Kaprizov is a top 3 winger in the league.
Mhm. It's fair. I would say that.
Because I'd say the 3 for me, and I'm definitely going to think of some that I'm not even like
Yeah.
going for, but for me, it's got to be in no particular order: Kaprizov, Kucherov, Pasternak. That's got to be my 3.
Yeah, just wingers overall.
Is there anyone glaring that you're like, why wouldn't you have said this person? I'm trying to think. I feel like there's someone that people are going to yell at me for on this, and I'm trying to.
Panarin's like, but
I get it, but I'm still taking those 3 over Panarin, no question.
Yeah, like Ovechkin used to be in that conversation.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, he had 2 goals tonight. Maybe he ended up getting the hat trick. I didn't even see, but good for him.
Yeah, there's
the one that I know people will scream about if there's any fans of this team listening would be Rantanen.
Yeah.
I still take these 3 over him. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm sure we're missing somebody.
There has to be someone obvious that I'm not thinking of, but
so somebody, hopefully they'll
comment, tell me how dumb I am. That's okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Anna, for that discussion. Next one up is one from yours truly. We were talking about it this weekend, actually, randomly, while we were watching the start of the Philly game. I think the next head coach of the Minnesota Wild will be Mike Sullivan. I think the relationship's already being established there with the Team USA stuff. Obviously, both East Coast guys. But for whatever listeners want to say with like recency bias about who the Penguins are, make no mistake, Mike Sullivan is the reason that the Penguins turned it around and won those back-to-back cups. He was such an undervalued and underappreciated coach for a good 5-year stretch there. I think things have gotten a little stale. I think he's honestly there to keep collecting paychecks. And the second that he gets fired, Billy's going to come right for him. And not legal for them to be discussing this already, but maybe hypotheticals have been discussed over their lunches in Prague. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting point you brought up the other day. And like, I don't hate it or disagree with it in a sense. Like, I think right now, that would take into account Guerin getting a chance to hire another coach after this to see how it goes, right?
Fair.
B, I think we all know how much Sullivan has a lot of love and respect in the organization with Pittsburgh ownership, coach, and GM level. So, but eventually those 10 years end, right? It's a matter of A, will he want to coach again? B, will be in Minnesota. But yeah, it's the connections from the relationship with Guerin is one. Number two, him being a Hall of Fame coach. why wouldn't you? Depends on where they are in the Wild are in their playoff arc, right? Like
if they're not in that spot in their playoff arc, then you're right. Billy's not here.
So Billy's not here and Sullivan's not coming there. So like,
Yeah, fair.
I think
All right, I'm saying that they will be.
if they are, and like, but obviously let's give John Hines a chance here before
I'm not saying that he's replacing him in a week. I'm just saying in the coming years, if Billy Guerin is granted another coach hire, that's who it'll end up being.
Yeah. There'll be worse options.
Well, there are far worse options out there. Last one we have here, and this one's a little bit tongue in cheek, but had to throw it out there as one of our followers, listeners actually tagged me in it to draw my attention to it. Thank you. Jordan Schmaltz, about an hour before, or half hour before we recorded, about an hour ago now, says, how am I just finding this out? The Wild logo is a bear? WTF? News to the peoples, and just has a big picture of the Minnesota Wild logo. And as I told you when we started doing this, Joe, once every 6 months, there's someone that pops up and says, holy crap, there's a bear? And it like the internet goes crazy. Half the people are telling them how dumb they are, and half the people are like, oh my God, really? So that until further notice, that will be one of our interview questions.
Well, like, yeah. And like maybe he listened to the interview before with Hendricks and they talked about the bear, or, you know, like, but yeah,
that's how I figured it out.
Maybe like that was how it happened. Don't know else what it came from, actually, but yeah, there's apparently a looser interpretation of what it looks like. It is something to everybody differently. So, long as it's popular for the Wilds and their jersey sales, they will be happy with it. But yeah, it mixes in with the complicated state that Minnesota is.